All right, so I am out here in a very messy garage about to undertake a cool project. On the table here are 5 bins that I've pulled from the 100K collection. And the thing that all of these books have in common is that they basically contain comics featuring the Punisher. Wait! And in some of these, there's some other titles in there, but we are talking various titles associated with Punisher from different time periods. I'm going to try to put together a couple of runs. We'll see whether we have in here enough to make some full runs, but should be a pretty cool project. We've got some regular Punisher in here. What else do we have? That was from my childhood right there. That's some other stuff in here, some Doctor Who, you just saw that. Some X-Men back over here, but mostly Punisher stuff. Punisher War Journal is in here. Punisher Armory is in here. A couple of the one-off titles that Marvel has released over the years featuring Punisher is also in here. And then this box right here specifically has a lot of Spider-Man, so we're going to set that stuff to the side. But again, bunch of Punisher books. We're going to try to make some magic happen and see what we can do. I've also been spending some time reading a lot of Punisher, which is part of the reason I decided to work on this. I was out here pulling books, trying to put together some stuff so that I could read it. It's like, you know what? This would be a lot simpler if it was all organized. So that's what we are going to try to do. So I've got an empty bin over here that I'm going to be pulling books from over here to put in here so that I can organize, and then I'll be adjusting things here. But right off of the bat, pulled out this book right here, The Punisher Meets Archie. This is actually, I think, a variant, if you will. The other one, or the main one, is Archie Meets the Punisher, but this is like the variant. Content is the same. The only difference I do believe is the cover, and I think that's a die cut. Yeah, die cut. So there's a couple of copies of that in this very first bin. So turned it over, thought I would share that one. I think I already have a couple of runs of this right here, mostly upstairs, but we'll see what else is in here. The first run that I'm working on putting together is this one right here, which is the Punisher, published under Marvel Knights. This was, I believe, released in 2000. And part of the reason why I wanted to start with this one is this is the one that I recently started to read, and I've already read all these issues, but you notice here that there are multiple copies of them in here. So what I do is when I find them, I just put them together, and then I kind of sort through and try to pick out the best of the various copies to save and to hold, and then, you know, put the others back in some semblance of order in the bins. But as you look to this first bin here that I'm working on, you can see that there's different titles, different time periods that these things are being released in here. So, and that's actually a really cool book right there. That's Punisher 100. I do believe a hard to find. I've seen at least 3 copies of this one so far in here. And this one I do believe was actually done, the artwork here, by Michael Golden, which is kind of cool. So we're going to continue working our way through here, hopefully finding more in this specific run versus all the other runs, but time will tell. All right, so I've been able to find the first run. 1 through 4 are here. Here's 5. There's a couple of copies of 6. This one was difficult to find. A couple of copies of 7. Here is 8. Up here is 9. 2 issues of that. 2 copies of 10. Here's 11. That's a cool cover. And then here is 12. And I think that this is a limited run of just 12 issues. So that's all 12 located so far. Nice to have those secured. All right, so we made some good progress here over the last couple of hours. I actually took 2 bins off the table and added a new bin in because I found another Punisher bin. But let me give you a rundown of like what's here on the table. So in this very first bin is basically all of the Punisher Warzone stuff. So the one that jumps out at me is this one right here, because this one dropped back when I was in high school. So I distinctly remember this one coming out. But this is all Punisher Warzone in this first bin, not organized in any way, shape, or form, but it is there. Next to it, I have organized, I believe, The Garth Ennis runs for Punisher, specifically the 2000 and the 2001. Both of those runs are complete, and I actually found a cool variant cover in the collection. This is issue number 2 of variants. There aren't many variants, generally speaking, in the collection, but I did find that one. So those 2 runs for Garth Ennis are complete. Next up in here, I've pulled together the Punisher Armory. I still have not found issue number 8, but I have multiple copies of everything else, but not a single issue number 8 in here. So I do have, one copy of issue 10, which I hear is a hard issue to find. I want to say I saw more, but I'll have to keep looking to see if I can locate those. This is an interesting run. It's a 4-part run, I think from the 2000s right here. I found all 4 issues of that were released on Marvel Knights. So that's in here. I had that Punisher meets Archie in here. I have a bunch of like the one-shots or the short runs for Punisher. This is Punisher POV. That's issue number 1. A couple of copies of that. Issue number 2. There's issue number 3. And then I have a couple of copies of issue number 4 in there. There's No Escape, which is something I read recently. What else? A couple, again, one-shots in here. Ghost Rider, Team Up. There's a Batman book in here. There is a Captain America series 4-parter that's also in here. And then the back section, I have a bunch of the specials. So summer special, winter special, back to school special. And then I also have the annuals in there. So that's what's in that second bin. Skipping over to this bin here, this is all of the Punisher War Journal. And I specifically have issues 1 through 80. So this is a complete run of Punisher War Journal right there. 4 copies of issue, I think it's 4 copies here. 4 copies of issue number 1. I think I have a couple of more copies of this upstairs, but a really cool run right there. There's also a really awesome book in here that, again, I may show in a separate video related to the Punisher. And in this last bin... All right, so I'm just going to interrupt here real quick to say that in that last bin, there are more comics, okay? I'm gonna just put it out there. There's more comics in that last bin, but specifically what's in there is a full run of the Punisher ongoing series, specifically issues 1 through 104, including a couple of copies of issue 102, which is a really awesome cover. I had a 9.8 of that I had graded and sold a while ago, but 2 raw copies still in the collection. It took me several hours to actually work my way through the various bins. And after finding the initial 5, I found the 6th bin that had some additional books, but it took me several hours to get everything kind of organized and sorted. And things are in a good place. They really are. But I will tell you, I did find a ton of just awesome Punisher-related comics. And the question is, will I release a video showing some must-have Punisher comics? That's the question. We'll see whether that happens. Either way, thanks for taking the time to watch. Take care.
This thing on? Mic check. I just want to make sure y'all can hear me clearly. Yeah. Should you practice art? Or should art be your practice? I had a question, so I asked it. Not to anyone specifically, but to my inner God, you know? The one that's gonna be a master. The one that's more than a rapper. The one that's an educator. The one that seeks enlightenment. He travels with concepts. He's got the mindset expansive. He understands that his time combined with travel and concepts makes his mind convex. Sort of like when you look at a brain scan. Straight off meditation, we was concaving until we had that eternal dialogue that created our dialect. Now we in distinct rooms of pure souls having them conversations. Synergy and combination.